The 96 Academy Awards are this Sunday, and we're going to take a look at all the nominees and the predicted winners using only math. Who is the man behind this madness? It is Ben Zauzmer. He wrote a book called Oscarmetrics, the math behind the biggest night in Hollywood. He's been predicting these types of things for 13 years, and let me tell you, his track record is pretty spotless. Now, sometimes there are a few wild cards, which we'll talk about, and there is one category that is particularly very close. It is such a slim margin between who could win that really anything goes on Sunday. But I'll give you my opinion. All right, let's jump the fuck right into it. The first of 20 categories, Best Sound. This is the fourth year they're combining sound editing and sound mixing for one category, Best Sound, with 55.9%. It is Oppenheimer. I mean, there's really nothing to talk about here, nothing to argue. I think the sound design was fantastic in the Zone of Interest, who is second at 19.4%, but nothing can beat Oppenheimer. I saw it on 70mm IMAX. The sound was out of this fucking world. And I think that's what they were going for. So I have no doubt in my mind that they'll take Best Sound. Next is Best Original Song with 45.5%. What Was I Made For from Barbie. This song was written allegedly in about 40 minutes. It just kind of came out of Phineas and Billie Eilish. Brother and sister songwriting icons. Now, they already won an Oscar in this category a few years ago with their James Bond theme, No Time to Die, with Billie Eilish being the youngest artist to ever sing a James Bond theme. This song takes place during, for me, the most impactful moment of the movie. The montage of women and girls, and it's just overwhelming in the best way. Now let's talk about Miss Diane Warren, who's been nominated for her song The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot for the 15th time. This woman has been trying to get an Oscar for over 20 years. They have nominated her so many times. Last year they gave her an honorary Academy Award. She has been nominated so many times, she deserves an Oscar at this point. I don't think it'll be for this song. According to Vulture, her best song that was nominated is I Don't Want to Miss a Thing from Armageddon, performed by Aerosmith in 1998, and they lost to When You Believe by Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston from The Prince of Egypt. But also, her songs have not been strong over the last 10 years, I'd say. They just haven't. Last year's song, forgettable. It was. It just is what it is. So I'm sorry to this woman. I wish her the best. I hope that she wins someday. I don't think she will. I think the voters are shady as fuck, and they're just going to keep on nominating this woman and never give her the award. I'm so sorry. Best Original Score at 70.9%. Oppenheimer. I mean, another no-brainer. It's Ludwig Göransson, who worked on Mandalorian and the Black Panther. The way he makes music and the way that it infuses itself with what we see on screen is extraordinary. It is truly a marvel in music. The scores for these weren't that strong anyway. No offense. They weren't memorable to me. Check out this behind the scenes video on how he created Can You Hear the Music? It's absolutely insane. His wife is a professional violinist. He got her to record the initial string melody, which transformed into this violin on violin on violin with a synthesizer and a white baby grand, and just these insane combinations of things that somehow made it feel so beautiful yet overwhelming. In the scene where he's at the podium giving a speech, and he's picturing everyone being set on fire because he's realizing the damage that he's done. And Ludwig is just, I don't know, I need to look up more adjectives, clearly, because I can't think of any good ones right now, but he is at the top of his game. Best Editing with 58.3%, it is Oppenheimer. Another big surprise. This award goes to Jennifer Lame, who has already been praised this award season with how she edited this film. It is immaculate. Usually, the best editing is the editing that you don't notice. The movie flows so extremely well, but I noticed the editing in this movie for all the best reasons. Especially working with a director like Christopher Nolan, there are so many things that he wants incorporated. So she was able to balance all of her creative needs and wants with his creative needs and wants, and somehow made this film. Obviously, there are hundreds of people to credit to this film, but it's gonna sweep the Oscars. It just is. It just is. Best makeup and hairstyling at 37.6%. We've got Poor Things. Unfortunately, the interesting nose job in Maestro is in second place. I didn't particularly love this movie. It was very strange, and it's for a very certain group of people. But I appreciate its artistic perspective. I think there are some beautiful visuals in this film, and part of those visuals are coming from the makeup and hairstyling team. Best costume design at 48.3%, we've got Barbie. I mean, there are so many iconic outfits in this film. Not only are they coming up with new versions of what a Barbie could be, but they are implementing all these old designs from Barbie over the past 50 plus years and making it modern, gorgeous. It was just done so well. And I think an honorary Oscar should go to Margot Robbie's stylist, who continued to keep up her Barbie aesthetic for months. I mean, bravo. Best visual effects with 49.9%. We've got The Creator with Godzilla -1 in second place at 21%. I actually think this one is going to be closer than the percentages here. They were both made on modest budgets for the depth and width that these films require. Godzilla -1 was made by a small team in Japan over several months. They got weekends off, everything was organized beautifully, and what they did with their money, girl, they squeezed every dollar and made it look like it cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make. It's a close race. I'm gonna have to agree with Ben on this one. I think it should go to The Creator, and I think it will go to The Creator because Gareth Edwards is becoming a respected name in the industry. He is now slated to direct the next Jurassic World movie. I thought that was going to be over, but I guess it's going to keep on going. And if it's Gareth, I'm here for it. And instead of putting green screen suits on people and trying to film and trying to picture what these people will look like in post, he filmed people running, talking, eating like normal people do. And then in post, they were able to rotoscope the back of their heads to make it look like they were androids. They also filmed on location for a lot of this movie, filled in some of the blanks, made things happen, and the result is something a lot of filmmakers can learn from and hopefully implement in the future. Best cinematography, another no-brainer. At 63%, it's Oppenheimer. I mean, Hoyte van Hoytema, who is known for a lot of things, but last year, most notably, he did Nope with Jordan Peele, and now he was on Oppenheimer, and in watching the behind the scenes of this film, he worked so hard, so meticulously to make tons of things happen, along with the special effects crew and the visual effects supervisor. They also shot on these huge IMAX cameras that are so loud, and as an actor, I would be extremely distracted, but I would go with it, for the visuals because they're stunning. But more than that, he worked with the team at Kodak to invent black and white IMAX film. Now, if you are setting new standards for the industry, you absolutely deserve an Oscar. But the visuals in this film alone absolutely make him a deserving winner of this year's Academy Award for Best Cinematography. Best Production Design with 40.2%, it's Barbie! There were so many incredible sets on this film, and while I do think Poor Things had very strong production design, ultimately I agree with Ben, and I think this will go to Barbie. If you've been following the international features, then you know exactly what I'm about to say. With 74%, the zone of interest for Best International Feature. This is another no-brainer. It has gotten so much praise. Along with Anatomy of a Fall, if Anatomy of a Fall was in this category, frankly, I think it would take it. I do. Jonathan Glazer did something in this movie that was both beautiful and terrifying, reminding us of our history, of where we came from, and a perspective that we may not know about. Frankly, these are all strong films. Perfect Days has been gaining traction with word of mouth. Yeah, this one's going to Zone of Interest. For Best Documentary Feature at 72.6%, it is 20 Days in Mariupol. This doc follows a group of journalists who get stuck in Ukraine during the Russian invasion. The movie is heartbreaking and timely. This shit is still going on. Like, there's just so much war in this world. There's so much war in history. It's almost innate to who we are. But movies like this give an image of what it's like elsewhere. As Americans, we are so stuck in our bubbles. We think everything is peaches and motherfucking cream, and that's just simply not the case. The sun may be shining here, but it is certainly not shining in places like Ukraine, and that needs to change. Best Animated Feature at 74.1%, it is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This film took it up a notch from the first, and has become, in my mind, one of the best animated films of all time. Like a lot of other people said, animated features need to be considered for Best Picture. They should not only sit in their one little category, because this movie is so much more than animation. The industry still looks at it as almost a kiddie thing, but animation is for all ages, and that's what the Academy is not getting. The Boy and the Heron, a lot of people are saying that these two are much more head-to-head than is displayed here in the stats. And while this was originally marketed as Miyazaki's final film, he said almost immediately that he was already working on another movie, so we know it is not his last. It's really cool to see an international film in this category, but I think ultimately it's gonna go to Spider-Man. It went to the first one, and the second one absolutely deserves this win. Best Adapted Screenplay at 40.8%. It is American Fiction by Cord Jefferson, starring Jeffrey Wright. This movie was so good. It completely surpassed my expectations. The trailer was already strong. It definitely sucked me in, but what I got out of it, was so much more than I ever expected. It is a biting commentary on the state of race in this country. It's tongue-in-cheek, it's emotional, it's visceral. This script can't be beat. Best Original Screenplay with 42.8%. It is Anatomy of a Fall. Yes, with Past Lives in second place and The Holdovers in third. Listen, the Academy loves a courtroom drama. They love drama in general. So naturally, this film was a shoo-in. And I see completely why. Because you could write a shitty screenplay, have fantastic actors play it. It's still shit. You can tell. But when you have a fantastic screenplay and fantastic actors acting those words, bringing them right off the page, making them feel so natural, I can't help but be attracted to a film like this. It was so good. I will say the movie was very slow at times, which I'm sure most of it, or all of it, was on purpose. But they had this woman speaking multiple languages. They had her doing French, they had her doing German, they had her doing English, and switching between all three. It was crazy. More than just the acrobatics of speaking three languages in one film, the material itself is so good. It makes you question the entire time if she killed her husband or not. You just don't know. It's back and forth, and you know what? Spoiler, you don't even find out at the end. And that is, I think, the beauty of this screenplay. We need more writers like Justine Triet. And frankly, I can't wait to see what she does next. I actually read the screenplay for The Holdovers, and I also thought that was really strong. But in that case, I actually think the words on the page were good, and I liked the story, but the way that it was brought to life made the film what it is. If you've been following the award season, you know who is up for Best Supporting Actress at 91.3%. It is Divine Joy Randolph for her performance in The Holdovers. It was devastating, it was heartbreaking, and it was award-winning because she has snatched every award at every show. She's about to snatch this one too. Best Supporting Actor with 90.6%. Robert Downey Jr. for his performance in Oppenheimer. Now, you know I love my baby Ryan Gosling, especially this performance as Ken in Barbie, but everyone across the board loved Robert Downey Jr. in his role as Strauss in Oppenheimer. He played it exactly how it should have been played. It felt so natural. He didn't need to go over the top and be this obvious antagonist. He did everything with a subtlety that I appreciate. And once again, this man has shown that he is more than just one character, even though we've known him as Iron Man for over 10 years. He's showing with this nomination, he is not a one-trick pony, honey. He's been in this industry for too long to be put into a box, and I'm excited for him to accept this award on Sunday. All right, we're down to the big four, the final four categories of the night. Let's start with Best Actress. This one is a very, very tight race. In number one, with 43.3%, we've got Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. And in second, at 42%, it's Emma Stone for her performance in Poor Things. Lily Gladstone has had all the buzz this season. And let me tell you, even if she didn't win anything, she still would be working for the rest of her life. But she has been winning this award season, and this woman has talent. It's not like they're giving it to whoever's popular, because Emma Stone is plenty popular, and you know I love my girl Emma, but Lily is breaking records. She's setting precedents. So you might think that this race is close, but I think ultimately it is going to Lily on Sunday. If you've been watching this video, then you know who I'm going to say for Best Actor. With 76.9%, it is Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer. Paul Giamatti had a really strong performance in The Holdovers, but with only 11.9%, girl, Cillian is taking it, and he absolutely deserves this win. He has known Christopher Nolan for 20 years, and when he finally got the call for Oppenheimer, he was a little scared, because what a role, but what a career-defining role. This is another performance that was played with such subtlety. He made Oppenheimer feel like a real person, which obviously he was, but a lot of people don't really know him. And there are not any really private moments of the real J. Robert Oppenheimer that we can look to see what he was like. So Cillian did tons of research to understand who this man was and how he changed over his life. I mean, we're getting down to the final two categories, and I think you already know what I'm about to say. Best Director with 70.1%, it's Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer. Like many people, I am still disappointed that Greta Gerwig is not in this fucking category, because what she did was absolutely deserving of a Best Director nomination. Christopher Nolan has such vision. I mean, I could go on and on about Christopher Nolan. I love Interstellar and Inception. And to see this articulate sci-fi legend take on a real story and write the screenplay in first person, it's everything. And let's just scroll up to the top. We already know. Best Picture, 78.4%, Oppenheimer. Yep, it's an incredible film. And while this was a devastating movie, it exudes almost everything that the Academy looks for in a Best Picture winner. If these predictions ring true, Oppenheimer will leave the Oscars with 13 Academy Awards, the most wins since The Shape of Water. That's it for this one, folks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think's gonna win? Who do you think's gonna lose? What are they gonna wear? What are you eating during the ceremony? I'm hungry already. I need a snack. Catch you in the next video. Until then, see you at the movies. Mahalo for watching. Bye.